to episode 16 of Newysports TV. Believe that's what we're up to. You'd think I'd be counting, don't you? No, I'm not. Today, Wallsend and Toronto-Awaba headed out to this game despite waking up this morning thinking that I was going to be playing today, but that got called off, so Wallsend was a pretty good backup option, and granted, it was actually a pretty good day out there at Westy. Under 17s result, Wallsend 2 defeated Toronto-Awaba FC 1. An all top 4 clash here in the 17s. An entertaining battle in my mind. First goal came from a defensive error on behalf of Wallsend. The goalkeeper Josh Snedden trying to clear the ball or something. It deflected off a defender into the net, 1-0. Not a good moment for Snedden. He's a much better goalkeeper than that. Charlie Atkinson missed a decent one-on-one chance for Toronto to equalise. They were made to pay. Wallsend's Kai Drayton left Toronto's defence chasing shadows. One of the fullbacks for Toronto. I'm not going to name him. I don't like being negative, but he's a better player than being left stranded there by Drayton. That wasn't his best moment, and it was one of Drayton's best of the game. He scored a goal, and that was the equaliser for Wallsend. Did I say 1-0 to Westy earlier? I meant 1-0 to Toronto. It is past midnight and it's been a long day. What can I say? Jared Hayter was playing well for Westy, as was Josh Knight, who had 1, 2, 3, 4, 100 chances actually. Knighty couldn't buy a goal, and once or twice I think a layoff pass maybe could have been better. There was a bit there where Kai Drayton probably would have had a chance to score if Knighty passed the ball, but Knighty took the goal on and it went straight to the keeper. But he made up for it later, more on that. Jonathan Ridgian subbed on for Toronto and an early dipping shot pretty much straight away. Not too bad, played a decent game, decent cameo off the bench. Couple more missed chances for Josh Knight. That's becoming a bit of a repetitive thing, isn't it? Jared Hayter missed a chance. The winning goal would come from Wallsend. It would come from Josh Knight. He came on off the bench. Kai Drayton was given the ball after some brilliant forward work from the midfield, and it found Knight, who found the net. 2-1 to Westy, and a big win for the Bluebells in the under-17s. That takes them 6 points clear of Toronto. Of course, they're still 4 or 5 points behind Lake Macquarie City, who are top of the league, with a game tomorrow morning against Cooks Hill. A big win for Westy though in the second v third battle at Johnson Park. In the under-19s, the game of the day, Wallsend 4 drew Toronto-Awaba 4. Greg Mason opened the scoring with a header. Westy They were without goalkeeper Jake Shoesmith, who is expected to maybe be out for the season with a recurring ankle injury. Josh Snedden played in goals as 17's keeper. He couldn't do anything to stop Josh Davis from opening the scoring for Toronto. I keep nearly saying Thornton. They have a Josh Davies. This is a Josh Davis. Confusing, isn't it? Josh Davis scoring, smashing it in off the crossbar. And not long after that, he had another one, an even better finish than the first one, making it 2-1, putting the underdogs in front. And then it was 3-1, William Stevenson scoring just before half-time. After the break, Matt Turner scored, James Barnes scored to make it 3-3 for Westy. And it was looking like they were going to run away with it at this point, but Toronto stuck in there. They got a penalty for a handball. Jesse Cowie converted it, and the visitors led once more. Sam Jones missed a sitter, which is funny because he's got 13 goals this year. Greg Mason would be the one to break Toronto hearts with the latest of equalisers, 4-4, a hell of a game. And for Westy, this is points dropped. They may lose top spot tomorrow. They will if either Cooks Hill or Lakes win. If those teams draw, they won't lose top spot. But if Cooks Hill beat Lakes or vice versa, then Westy will not be top when I go to air tomorrow night for the second part of this video. That's drop points. For Toronto, for Lindsay Jamison's team, this is a hell of a result for a team that 2 weeks ago lost 11-0. I think that was 2 weeks ago, yes it was. That's a big turnaround. I'm not sure if they had players out that day at Belmont-Swansea or whatnot, but to go from there to what they are now, big turnaround. 6-0 at Lakes last week, so 17 goals conceded in 2 weeks, and they've just drawn 4-4 with the competition leaders. Pat on the back for the Stags 19s. Under 23s, West Wallsend 1 defeated Toronto 0. I don't have too much written down for this. It wasn't the biggest, the best 23s games ever. Grant Morris scored the only goal of the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. James Cooper played well for, or was it Cowper? Someone's going to tell me that. I think it's Cooper, someone would have corrected it. Highlight of the game, in my opinion, was the standing goalkeeper Liam Muir, not Mere. I say it right this time, Muir. I'll say it over and over and over. He was a standing goalkeeper today for the Westie 23s and get a clean sheet in goals. You can't go wrong with that. Toronto, I feel like what they're missing in the 23s is a quality goal scorer. What they have 4 or 5 goals this year, 24 conceded. Of course, defence needs to be better, but they need goals. And you know, in these games where it's 1-0, a handy goal scorer is exactly that, handy. I'll try not to fall asleep here. First grade. West Wallsend 4 defeating Toronto-Awaba 0. What can I say? This game was actually fairly even for the first half. Yeah, it's what can I say? Toronto were definitely in this game. But I'm completely sidetracked here on Facebook at the moment, trying to reply to messages. My mistake. Don't do that during a video. West Wallsend opened the scoring. In the only goal of the first half, there should be some editing or something. Only goal of the first half, Ryan Cole scoring after a Ty Jones cross, found Cole in the box, 1-0 to Westie at half time. Liam Watson missed the first chance of the second half, the first real chance of the second half. And Ryan Cole scored a second goal to punish the Stags. And a controversial few moments here, some free kick madness. Saw Jared Olivieri pretty much kick the ball into an empty net. The wall wasn't set, the goalie wasn't set. Toronto could have done a lot better here, just been alert to the situation. 3-0 to Westie. And then the big dog Olivieri would score a second goal, a more legit goal this one, 4-0. And he actually probably, well, he could have had a hat-trick if it wasn't a foul. The ball ended up in the net late on, but it was a foul. So Olivieri doesn't get a hat-trick, he does get a double, and a big win for Gary Rose, West Wallsend side. 3 cheers for Westie echoed out across the arena. Pavilion, stadium, not really a stadium, park. That'll do. For Toronto, that's 2 losses in a row. That's 10 goals conceded in those 2 losses. Not their best performance today, and what can I say? It's a side that, granted, do have a lot of new players this year, but players that are capable, and the effort, I feel, today wasn't up to it. I'll leave it at that. Apologies to Tony Jefsewski, the coach, because I did write that he left early, and I said that coaches shouldn't leave early, but he had work commitments that I didn't know about, so apologies there. But Tony did lay into the referees a little bit at half time, which is, in my mind, like that's completely just unacceptable. And I spoke out about this a few weeks ago, Blake Glennie at Cooks Hill, and I play for Cooks Hill, I'm involved at Cooks Hill, I'm pretty much the media manager there. So if I say that about my own club's coach, then of course I'm going to say it about an opposition coach, and I think Tony could have done a lot better than question the referees. And quite honestly, I've seen poorer refereeing than I did today, so I wouldn't want to see him on a day where they actually do get screwed over by the refs. But 4-0's a pretty convincing defeat. Referee controversy or not. Over at the Blacksmiths Oval, Belmont-Swansea 2 were defeated by Cessnock City 4 in the under-17s. 2 early goals to Patrick Afinosi and Ross Valeri for Belswans. They were 2-0 up inside 20 minutes or so against a team with no subs and a team that were, until last week, bottom of the league. Last week they came from behind, and wow, oh wow, Cessnock, they did it again. Connor Garrington scored their first goal. Will Forbes scored their second to equalise. That's half-time, 2-2. In the second half, the only goals, Tory Beveridge and Aaron Comerford. Cessnock City win in the 17s for the second week in a row, and they are now, currently as we talk, 3 points outside the top 4. They've got Lakes next week. I was speaking to Matt Zeckel I'll just messaging him online after the game. Matt Zeckel, of course, the 17s coach there. I don't think they'll beat Lakes next week, let's be honest about that, but he believes they can, and for a coach to have that belief in your side, that says a lot. And for Matt, it's a pat on the back for having these guys have the confidence and the will to come back from 2-0 down. And for more importantly, this is a lot more than Matt and the coaching effort here. These are the players that have come from behind, 11 of them against a 15-man Belmont-Swansea side at Blacksmiths, away from home. That's quite something from the Cessnock 17s this week. 4-2 victory. Points dropped for Belswans, of course. Here's no points dropped for Belswans in the 19s. Belmont-Swansea 8, defeating Cessnock City 0. I don't want to sound harsh, but this is no surprise. Cessnock City had 5 players out. Some good players in that group as well. It was only 3-0 with 10 minutes to go, and Belswans just ran away with it at the end. This team, look, seriously, they scored 11 in their last home game. They've got 8 now. They're going to score some goals, so Cessnock, they just move on from this. Goal scorers for Belswans, Cameron Lodge with a hat-trick. I believe he's still in the 17s team as well. Joel Nicholson still under 17, I'm pretty sure. 2 goals for him. Brian Simba a goal, Will Dundas a goal, and Arch Johnson a goal. 8-0 for Belswans. In the 23s, Belmont-Swansea 1, drawing Cessnock 1. A big result for Cessnock, but points dropped for Belswans. They're a top 4 side, they won't want to be doing this too often. Liam Stevenson scoring the goal for Cessnock, Kyle Wilson with the goal for Belswans. And then in first grade, I was getting messaged the score constantly. I couldn't take my eyes off of Facebook with this scoreline. Belmont-Swansea United 2, Cessnock City 3. The result of the year, the upset of the season, Steve Thompson's Cessnock City side putting the first loss on Belswans this season in UFM First Division, of course. Well, actually, Belswans haven't lost in the FFA Cup, so they haven't lost a competitive game this year until now. And wow, Cessnock. I'm not going to lie, Cessnock have been fairly average to start the year. They were bottom of the league going into today, I believe, and this is a hell of a result. Wade Atwell scoring an own goal from Belswans, giving Cessnock a 2-0 lead inside 20 minutes. Jeremy Morton making it 3-0 at half-time. Belmont-Swansea down to Cessnock at Blacksmiths Oval. I've been told that the wind really helped Cessnock today. And look, Belswans, they should be able to cope with that. They know what the wind's like there. Cessnock they were the better team today, and they had their troubles though. Belswans scored through Joel Shearer and Luke Cook from the penalty spot. Matt Zeckel saved a Josh Hall penalty at 3-1, which would turn out to be crucial. A 3-2 victory, a big win for Cessnock. They kept Belswans grounded. They just grinded out a big result today, and a huge 3 points for the Hornets. And Belswans most likely this time tomorrow night. Well, hopefully earlier, because I don't want to be going past midnight tomorrow. But next time I do this recording tomorrow night, I think Swans will no longer be top of the league. Whoever replaces them, I'm thinking Wallsend will probably beat Singleton. Anyway, let's move over to the NPL, where today Lambton Jaffers played Hamilton Olympic in the only game of the day. That's over at Arthur Eden Oval. Under 19s, Hamilton Olympic 7-1. I'm not sure what's going on there with the Lambton 19s. That's a pretty poor result. Olympic, good team though in the 19s. Good team in the 22s as well. They won 2-0 over Lambton. And in first grade, Hamilton Olympic completing the clean sweep. 3-0, 3 goals to Kane Goodchild. You can't go wrong there. The main man for Olympic, providing the goods against the Jaffers. Last night, well, it's now Sunday morning technically, so Friday night, Jets Youth travelled to Edgeworth. Under 19s, Edgeworth being defeated by the under 16 Emerging Jets 4-1. The under 18 Emerging Jets beat Edgeworth 3-1 in the 22s. Those are some good results right there. Let's get to first grade in a second, but for an Emerging Jets under 16s team to beat Edgeworth 19s, that's a hell of a win. And the Emerging Jets 16s, they seem to be going well this year. 18s beat the 22s. That's really good for the Emerging Jets. I've been an outspoken criticiser of that program, but those two results right there are pretty decent. This one maybe not as decent. Edgeworth 4-2 over the Newcastle Jets Youth. Goal scorers to the Jets Youth, Christian Brymora and Cameron Joyce, who's in some form this year. Cameron, a brilliant player, and I don't know if he's off overseas or what he's doing next year, but if he's still in this team, then the A-League Jets, maybe let's think about giving him a youth league contract and whatnot. You know, that pathway from the Emerging Jets to the Jets Youth to the A-League, it needs to be a bit more defined, doesn't it? If the players are good enough, which in Cameron's case, it's looking like he's a pretty handy player. The goal scorers for Edgeworth, I apologise for this pronunciation, it's a Japanese import. Kiyogo Moriyasu. I probably just completely butchered that, but he got 2 goals, the winger, and Brodie Taylor also got 2 goals, another winger right there. Good work for Edgeworth, 4-2 victory at Jack McLaughlin Oval. In the NPL Youth, yesterday now, Saturday, Weston Bears over Valentine. Weston Bears versus Valentine. Under 17s, Valentine 3-2. Under 15s was a 2-2 draw. Under 14s, a big win for Weston, 5-0. And under 13s, Valentine 3-1 in the NPL Youth. I will be doing Zone League Weekly Show, or whatever it's called, the Zone League Show. But let's go through those results now anyway. Zone Premier League, actually no. No, I will wait until the Zone League show. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to read out the results now. They are available on Newysports. This will be uploaded, Monday, Zone League show 2 days later. I think they can wait. Or maybe, can they? Can they wait? Yeah, they can. The results are up on Newysports. So that's pretty much it. There you go, 20 minutes into the video. That's bloody wonderful. Let's hope it's the same tomorrow night, 40-minute video instead of an hour and 10. That would be something, wouldn't it? Thank you to West Wallsend for their hospitality today at very short notice. I wasn't planning on going out there, but took the speaker, had some fun, and yeah, didn't get wet this week. Unlike Singleton last week, the less said about that, the better. Good luck to Singo tomorrow. Hopefully they can avoid getting washed out. It poured there earlier today. I didn't see a photo, but I heard their main intersection there near the ground, on the way to the ground, was underwater. So I'll be at Lakes tomorrow for Lakes and Cooks Hill, and I'll be reporting on that very soon. So see you in about, 2 seconds. See ya. Alright, part 2 of Newysports TV this weekend. Episode 16 this is. Currently midnight, so I might be a little bit off. I say that every night. What can I say? Bit of a late start tonight. Today's feature match is Lake Macquarie City versus Cooks Hill United at Macquarie Field. Not too many notes today, I'm not going to lie. I was sort of there to support Cooks Hill, there to support my club, and it wasn't an official Newysports match day, I don't feel. There was no match day poster, there was no match day poster yesterday at Wallsend either. The two games this weekend, I feel like I wasn't really covering them that well. I was just sort of having a quiet weekend. But yeah, it was an eventful day at Lake Macquarie. Some really hard-fought games between two quality clubs. The under-17s fixture, probably the game of the day in my mind. Lake Macquarie City 3 defeating Cooks Hill United 2. Gilbert Harabakunzi scoring the first goal of that game for Cooks Hill United. Very quality shown there by Gilbert early on down the wing. Lakes hit back through Callum Garbett, the captain for the Roosters. It was always going to be a back and forth tough match, this one. The visitors took another lead, penalty converted by Damon White, and suddenly Cooks Hill were 2-1 up against a team that hadn't lost a game this season, and in fact they hadn't drawn a game, they'd won every single game. Just remember that. Lakes, they hit straight back. Cooks Hill, this was pretty poor, I'm not going to lie. It's not good to see teams score a goal and then concede straight away. It happens a lot. It happens more often than you'd think. Curtis McRitchie getting his name on the score sheet again. Top goal scorer there for the 17s at Lake Macquarie. 2-2 after a very entertaining half. Only goal of the second half coming again from Curtis McRitchie. A lot of hard work and quality shown by Cooks Hill today. One of the Lakes officials actually said to me Cooks Hill was probably the best team they've played this season. It was one of Cooks Hill's best performances this season. I've been at most of them. This Lakes team, I still stick to what I say. They are premiership favourites in the under-17s. I don't feel like today was probably their best effort based on some of the scorelines that I've seen. This is a very, very disciplined football team. The way they defended for that age group is commendable, and they definitely showed why they are the top of the league, fop of the league. Google what a fop is. What's a fop? That could be bad. Don't Google what a fop is. I don't know. I'm going to do it after I finish this video, if I remember. Top of the league, TOP. Cooks Hill were good, but Lakes got over the line there, and I'd say it was deserved in the 17s. It was a decent performance from the Roosters, and they're going to move on to a game against Cessnock next week that you never quite know, do you? Cessnock at the moment, with the form there starting to get together. Under 19s, Lake Macquarie City 2 defeating Cooks Hill United 1. Cooks Hill, they were sloppy early on. This would become a recurring theme of the game. Jackson Gosling played well throughout the first half. He had a decent shot, but it was Kevin Van Gool scoring the opening goal for Lake Macquarie City after he had a chance that was tipped over the bar by Emerson Gosling in the Cookers' goal. Seb Lewis had a shot, but it deflected dangerously but fell safely. Lakes keeper Chris Teasdale played a decent game. This is all over the place, these notes. I'm sort of skipping a couple notes and leaving it till the end. Asher Beasley scored the goal for Cooks Hill to make it 1-1. And I feel like this game was a real stop-start affair. Both teams definitely capable of better than this. Turnovers, fouls, just throw-ins, real slow sort of stop-start game. Lethargic was a word that one of the coaches from Cooks Hill threw out there, and it probably described most of the game. But the bits that counted, they did count, and the main bit that counted came at the very end of the game. Jack Russo scoring for Lakes to take all 3 points and deny Cooks Hill a very commendable draw. Cook has played very well. They are a team to watch in the 19s, but Lakes move up to equal first with West Wallsend. It's a very, very tight table in the 19s at the top after West Wallsend dropped those points yesterday. Under 23s, Lake Macquarie City 0 defeated by Cooks Hill United 2. There was room in midfield for both teams. I feel like it was a very physical game, a very fiery game, back and forth for the majority. Cooks Hill took the lead through Sam Pateman. Adam Gunster was strong again in goals for Cooks Hill, one of his better games today. Chris Walker and Matt McClure, I thought, were two of the better players for Lakes. And then number 13, I didn't get the team sheets, but I've been sent the team sheets, so let me check who the number 13 was. I'll give you that much. He looked pretty puffed early on, I'm not going to lie. Daniel Wilson it was. Looked fairly worn out in the first 20 minutes, but he hung in there for the entire game, and he put in a real good shift today, I thought, Daniel Wilson. Cooks Hill, though, a better side, I've got to say that. Obviously they've won the game 2-0. The second goal coming from Sam Hawke. He pressured the goalkeeper fumbled, both went to ground, some craziness ensured. Couple players coming in, somehow the ball's got back to Hawkey, and he would bury it into the far corner of the net. A very good finish to put Cooks Hill 2-0 up and give Max Savekli's side their biggest win of the year over a Lake Macquarie City team that were previously undefeated. Big win for Cooks Hill in that grade, and a result that proves them as a serious threat for silverware this year. It is a very, very long way from the team that last year finished mid-table and didn't really put on too many good displays of football. Cooks Hill's 23s are actually playing some good football, and Lakes today, they weren't too bad, and I feel like they probably had an off day in front of goals. A couple chances went wayward. A few chances went wayward, I should say. They're a decent team, top 4 quality, definitely. All grades, that is, Lake Macquarie City, top 4 quality. You can be pretty sure about that. First grade, Lake Macquarie City 2 defeating Cooks Hill United 1. A very classy start to this game with Lakes putting on a bit of an Anzac ceremony over the loudspeaker. That was very nice, very respectful, and it was good. Both teams respected that, and that was one of the better points of the day, I think. It was a feeling out process in this game, but it got started, and it was certainly passionate, hard-fought game. Lakes took the lead through Blake Green, converting a penalty. Cooks Hill, they'd hit back through Aiden Palozzi, continuing his good form this year, the big name recruit. There, that'll do. Palozzi scoring the goal, one of many big name recruits this year at Cooks Hill. Cook is producing one of their best performances of the season. Let's not, for a side that lost 5-1 to Belmont-Swansea last week, there was none of that. The defending was a lot better today. Jack Wilson, Mal Hinchcliffe, Stuart Thompson and Matt Williams, the defensive line there for Cooks Hill. Goalkeeper Jack Simmons, he had a good day today as well in goals. Lakes, so probably they took their chances, and Corey Fletcher scored their second goal to put them on the front foot. Cooks Hill, they had a penalty that was, in my mind, pretty obvious call, waved away. At that point of the game, it's 2-1, and it could have been 2-2. And that is really, it was a bit of a game changer, I'm not going to lie. Lakes were given a penalty for a similar foul inside the box, so some inconsistency there shown by the referee, but look, Lake Macquarie were defending their asses off. Goalkeeper Owen Kemp, I believe it was. I'll just check that for you now that I do have the team sheets. You'd feel like I should know who the goalie is. It was Owen Kemp. He played very well today. And Lakes across most grades today were just brick wall in defence. Especially in first grade, just clearing it and working very, very well. But as I said, that penalty that got waved away for Cooks Hill, I believe it was a game changer. You make up your mind on that one. There was a few neutrals there that do believe it was a penalty, so we'll leave it at that. Lake Macquarie City picking up another win, building some form at the moment, top of the league, jumping Bell Swans. A big 3 points today for them. And for Cooks Hill, that's their 4th loss of the season. All 4 of those losses coming against top 4 quality sides. Are they the 5th best side in the competition? You tell me. I think they are at the moment. Big game for them against West Wallsend next week. Very unlucky not to get a point. Alright, let's move on. Singleton versus Wallsend. All games postponed. How easy is that? That will be rescheduled for probably not this Wednesday but the next, I'd imagine. First grade 23s and then 19-17s will be either on the Tuesday or Thursday up at Howe Park. There was a couple people saying why they washed out. Look, I'll tell you right now, I hadn't seen pictures, but I've heard some things about what happened up at Singleton on Friday. Some flash floods and whatnot. They've got a cricket pitch on their ground. That's probably a fair excuse. Singleton wouldn't have wanted to call it off today, and credit to Singleton for calling it off as early as they did. I believe I got a text message around 7:20, so that still sort of allows Wallsend some time to sort of turn around and stop driving up to Singleton. Thornton and Kahibah, the under-17s and 19s were called off there. Again, there's a cricket pitch on Thornton Thornton Park, so that's pretty understandable. You don't really want to put 4 games onto a cricket pitch on a wet cricket pitch, I should say. Those games will be rescheduled, of course. Let's hope the weather doesn't wreak havoc. We don't really want to have a million catch-up games during the week. Under 23s, Thornton Redbacks 0, defeated by Kahibah FC 3. 2 straight victories for Kahibah, 9 goals scored in those victories. Pete Migliore, I hope I'm saying that right, Migliore, something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. He has 5 goals in 2 games. Brendan Camodi scored and Jez Turner scored from the penalty spot. 3-0 win over a decent Thornton side that of course won the grand final last year. Probably not the same lineup, but a quality win for Kahibah nonetheless. And talking about quality wins, Thornton Redbacks, first grade, Thornton Redbacks 3, defeating Kahibah FC 1. I got a message, on the way back from Lakes I got a message and it said Thornton 3-1 and I'm like, what happened? That might sound a little bit harsh on Thornton, but they played well up at Singleton last week, but I didn't think they'd beat Kahibah, I'll tell you that much. But a huge win for Darryl McAllister's side today, pushing them up to 6, and suddenly they're 5 or 6 points outside the top 4. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves, but Thornton have suddenly gone from last to 2 or 3 wins now. It's certainly coming together. A win over Kahibah any time of the year is a big win. Nathan McAllister scoring a goal either side of Mitchell Kaczynski's 2 goals. Jaden Demir getting a goal for Kahibah. He's in form this year, Demir. I know he's got a running battle with Bell Swans' Jamie Hadlow about who's getting the most goals. Have to check who's got those goals at the moment. Demir getting another one. Not enough. Kahibah go down. 3-1 at Thornton Park. Big win for the Redbacks. We move on to the NPL. Adamstown Rosebud versus Valentine FC. Adamstown 2-0. Not sure who got their second goal or if it was their first. But one of the goals came from Chris Berlin. It was a quality finish. And then Berlin, who I got to watch Burlo a lot when I was working with Broadmeadow Magic over the last few years. A very, very good player, and I reckon a smart decision to leave Magic where he was probably going to be on the bench. I think he knew that. I think he was not probably the first choice winger there, and he's gone to Adamstown. He's found a home there, and it's good to see for Berlin. He actually went in goals and saved a penalty after Scott Carter was sent off again. That's not good for Graham Law's side. They can't have... I know Scott Carter's a very physical goalkeeper, and that's twice he's been sent off now. In, 2 or 3 games it's been in the NPL. Or he got sent off in the FA Cup or something like that. It hasn't been very many games and he's been sent off twice. So Carts has sort of just got to... He's maybe got to keep it cool, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I didn't really see what happened, but goalkeepers getting red carded generally means that they probably took the guy out. 22s and 19s were called off, I believe. I might have to be corrected on that one. I think they were. I'm going to say that much. Maitland and Charlestown. Credit to these two teams for putting on a bit of an Anzac ceremony of themselves. There was an article in the Maitland Mercury about... I did read it. I'll give them that. I did read it, I just don't remember it. A battalion there, and the under-17s team for Maitland are going to be going over to France, I believe, at the end of the year, so they're fundraising. The 17s game got moved to the senior match day. That game ending 1-0 to Maitland. The under-19s 2-1 Charlestown. Under-22s 3-0 Charlestown, a big win there. And first grade Matt Thompson scoring a late goal to secure a 1-1 draw for the Maitland Magpies against Charlestown City Blues at Cook Square Park, nearly forgetting the name of the field there. Weston Workers. The Bears up against Broadmeadow Magic. Under-19s Weston 1-0. Magic 5-1 in the under-22s. That's a handy win. And in first grade, a 0-0 draw, which that's quite disappointing, I believe, from two sides that normally produce a lot of goals when they meet. Weston played Magic in pre-season and ended 6-4 to Magic after Weston led 4-2 with 10 minutes to go, some craziness like that. 10 goals there, none today, so I don't think either team will be too happy with that. Especially Weston at home, they probably would have liked to have come away with a win against Magic. Always a very hard-fought game, Weston versus Magic, a very enjoyable rivalry. I've been to a few of those games over the years. I actually spent my birthday up there a few years back, and yeah, great football played up at Weston. NPL Youth, we'll just do the under-17s results. As I said, Maitland 1-0 over Charlestown. Lambton 3-2 over the Emerging Jets. And Broadmeadow Magic 4 defeating Edgeworth Eagles 1. And that's it. The Zone Premier League will be shown on the Zone League show, which is Wednesday night, I'm hoping. And yeah, that's great, isn't it? It's a 40-minute show now. Brilliant. That's half the show from last week. Next week feature match is Kahibah hosting Singleton on Sunday. Cooks Hill do play West Wallsend on Saturday, but I have a game at Valentine at 1:30, so I may be there for 17s, and that's probably it, if anything. So I might not drop in at all. I generally like going to all the games, not just one, so might not be there for any of the Cooks Hill versus West Wallsend games, but you never know, it might rain again. Wouldn't that be great? All Age, of course, being called off this week for me, which is how I ended up at West Wallsend yesterday. That's pretty much it for Newysports TV. On Wednesday night, actually, there will be Broadmeadow Magic versus Lambton Jaffers catch-up game. I will be there covering that first NPL game of the season. Looking forward to it. The Charity Shield rescheduled game. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. I think we're good. This has been Newysports TV, episode 16. I'm Ty Stedman. Thank you for watching, and I will see you for Zone League TV, Zone League show, whatever it's called, this Wednesday night. If I don't see you for that, I will see you back here next Monday for episode 17 of Newysports TV. Good night.